Okay, girls, I know that you've all read the report out of the Globe and Mail recently about doing all kinds of healthy things that might prevent cancer. Right. Who wants to start?
I'll start that off.
Okay.
Well, this was interesting because the World Cancer Research Fund did a study, and they combined, I think it was over 7,000 studies looking into what can prevent cancer. And what they found was pretty astounding, because a third of all cancers can be prevented by simply changing your diet, exercise, the things we know we're supposed to do, basically, that, lifestyle choices, being healthy, that can prevent cancer, a third of cancers.
Now, is this anything new, though? Like, haven't we known that if we eat healthy, if we become more active, if we have a healthy lifestyle, that we're going to prevent all kinds of things, not just cancer, all kinds of diseases?
I think the tragedy is that we wait. I alluded to this earlier this week. It's just a hallmark moment for me. Larry King Live with Norman Schwarzkopf, the general, Sam Donaldson, the news journalist, and another well-known junk bonds guy who I think just out of prison. But these men all had cancer and survived it, and they were all talking about how they were eating differently now. And for me, why do we wait till we're dying to do what we know we should do? So it's we've known.
You know what, though? This is the whole medical industry, and this is a huge pet peeve of mine, is that when I go to my family doctor, all she's interested in is writing me a prescription for something I already have. Nobody ever talks to you about things that you need to be doing in your life to start doing prevention. That's why so many people go to naturopaths or into vitamins and different health food drinks and things like that. And it just bothers me that nobody is working with me to be better in my health. All they're worried about is treating a disease that I already have. Or maybe they could see diseases coming down the road saying, oh, maybe you need to lose a little weight, or your blood pressure, just more, I don't know, like more engaged and more ways to actually work toward better health.
It really is, though, about changing our mindset, isn't it? Because I've known people who've dealt with cancer, who have changed their eating habits, but then years go by and they're healthy for a while. They go right back to the same old eating habits. People who have had open heart surgery who say, okay, no more cheese, no more dairy, because I know that clogs arteries and things. But then years later, they're feeling good, and so they slip back into the unhealthy eating. So it's a matter of getting on the right program and living there.
Do you know what concerns me, though, especially, is children. When you look at the foods available to children, and I mean, I got a glimpse of this when I was babysitting my niece and nephew. You take kids out to a restaurant, what's on the menu? It's all fatty, sugary foods. Trying to feed a family is really hard when you don't have a lot of time and things like that, and there's so many preservatives, chemicals, things in food. It's very hard to raise children on a very healthy diet, and I don't think we're doing enough. All of the money that's funneled into cancer research, why don't we divert some of those funds and put it into prevention and education and making organic food cheaper, things like that could actually have a whole benefit in our society.
It's interesting, the naturopaths, or at least one I talked to, said when you put something into your body that, now I'm going to speak the way I think, that God did not design your body to process and use, the body says, not self. In my words, I'd say foreign substance. And then your body has to figure out, what do we do with this? Whether it's a chemical, an additive, whatever. And you wonder why we have all these diseases. I want to do just a moment of confession here. I had this hanging in my kitchen for a long time. It's not valid anymore because I pushed beyond. But pushing 50 is exercise enough was kind of my little laugh excuse at not doing the things I knew I should do, until I got a diagnosis of osteoporosis. So guess who knows I need to do weight resistance to build those bones, and some other good things.
The point is, no one will take care of your health but you. It's up to us to take care of our bodies. And I think getting back to kids, when we as the parents start to eat better, make healthy choices, in restaurants even, make healthier choices, or don't go to the restaurants that only serve the high fat and high grease foods, then our children will start to take on those things,
They're being weaned on they're just being raised on this stuff, and we have to wean them off of sugars and fats. We have a good friend who survived breast cancer. And she is really one of the healthiest eaters I know. But it's not just her life. She feeds her family in the same way. So they're all benefiting from her healthy choices.
And you see it in her daughter, because her daughter doesn't really want junk food, doesn't really even like junk food, you know, because she's just been trained that way her whole life. I just think that's amazing. But I wanted to say about that study too, was so interesting how they said immigrants who come from a country with very low rates of cancer come here and end up getting the high rates of cancer after a while. So it just shows you how much lifestyle does impact and where you live. So maybe we should all move to Asia.
You know what? I was just asking Amy about that yesterday, and someone we know well, about breast cancer in her country, and it's almost unheard of. You are what you eat.
Those healthy choices that we all need to get in the habit of making. Well, March is actually in Canada Nutrition Month, so it's the perfect time to start thinking about getting healthy and staying healthy.